What's up? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Scott Lewis, apartment gamer. Stoop Edition. What's good? I'm here with Lady T. What's up, Lady T?
Hey Scott,
What's
what's up?
good?
Nothing much. It's
How's everything
Friday.
over there where you at?
Well, it's no snow.
Oh, it's snowing?
Nah, it's no snow. It
It's no
melted.
snow. Is it cold?
It's a little breezy. It's been it's been windy the last few days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been,
All
but the
right, we
snow
gonna.
all melted now from up here.
Yeah. Where you at anyway?
I'm from Brooklyn,
You from Brooklyn?
right? But what had happened was I live up in Western New York.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I'm talking about snow.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. It's nice there in the summertime.
Yeah, it is. It is. The
It's,
summers are short here though. Um, to me, it start getting cool. You can start feeling the air coming down from Canada. Oh yeah, y'all. I'm about maybe an hour, 30 minutes from Canada.
right.
I'm up here,
Right.
like I'm doing time up upstate, but nah, I live up here for now.
Right.
But yeah, it start getting cold in like September.
I'm gonna put the link up for people to join if they want to join the conversation. I want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets draft picks and for these fans to stop worrying about the Nets. I think everything is going to be fine. I really do. I know
I don't
you
have no
don't.
experience, so
I know
believe.
you follow basketball a little bit, just a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tad.
Are you a Knick fan or a Net
Um,
fan, or it
I'm a,
doesn't matter to you?
it don't matter, but I mean, growing up, my relatives and stuff into Knicks, New York,
Yeah, right.
And now, in my era, I'm in my late 30s, so like everything is about to me. The next best thing is the Nets.
Yeah. Well, where you at is the Buffalo Bills.
Could never, could never.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Jonathan. He said, "I hope spring hits you soon." It better.
It,
It better.
it gets cold up there. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it gets brutal.
But that's a sports town, Buffalo.
I wish they win something then. But we're not gonna go there.
That's right, because they get mean afterwards if they
I
lose.
mean, the diehard fans, I understand, but it's like, come on, give them something to celebrate. Like,
Right. Well, up there, do you see Knick fans or Net fans?
um, it's a lot of people I come across that come from New York City, of course, because we everywhere. Brooklyn, we
Yeah.
everywhere. But it's a lot of people that I come across that live up here come from the Bronx normally,
Oh, okay.
and they constantly ask me,
So a lot of
us
Yankee
Brooklynites
fans.
don't play that Bronx stuff too tough.
Yeah. So they Knick fans mainly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
figured that.
because that's their downtown, the
Right.
Garden.
Oh, okay.
you know,
Okay.
they
Yeah.
they live in the Bronx, so they live
Yeah.
uptown. Downtown Manhattan is their
Well,
home.
you know, let me put the link in the chat. See if I can
Okay.
get some guys to come in.
Yeah, don't be scared. Come in. Let's talk.
Okay. Okay.
Have you
Uh,
seen what happened with LeBron
oh, what happened with LeBron?
and what's that? Stephen J. Stephen.
Steven Smith?
Uh huh.
Oh, they had a dispute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, he
But I
must
kind
be.
of think it was blown out of hand.
I think it had something to do with the Knicks and the Laker game.
Nah, his son. They
Oh,
made it seem like it was
oh,
something pertaining to something that he said about. or towards or affiliated with his son playing basketball.
Well, I didn't know that. I did
Yeah,
not know that. That was recently, huh?
I I think so. What I saw on social media was like he was approached, LeBron approached him while he was playing the game.
Wow. Oh, okay. Here we got Jonathan. Hey, what's up, John? Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. How you been? I wanted to talk to you about your option for the draft of them drafting down in the yeah, we hear you, Harlem. Right. I was I was looking at the draft board, the Tankathon draft board, and they said that we have a shot at Dylan. That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. Right, right. Yeah, me too. I feel good. Hey Harlem, what's up? Oh, he went offline. J-
Okay, nice meeting you too.
Yeah, that's Lady T. She don't know too much about basketball. That's my niece, but she's learning. She learning.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I was going over the draft board just a few minutes ago, and I want to pull it up. That's what I want to show you something. Let me see if I can get it up. I gotta pull it back up. NBA. Okay.
No, I'm in Western Bip in Buffalo, so I don't even watch.
She don't get a chance to watch it. That's a shame because see that's
I would have
Buffalo
to
is a
stream
foot.
all this because I mean, like local stuff, they ain't gonna show nothing from.
Yeah, they don't show too much stuff up there.
And not
You
New
know they.
York,
You know
right?
uh,
That thing saw a shadow, so it went. And once it saw a shadow, it went icy up there for about 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I injured myself too. I had a dislocated my ankle.
yeah, that's terrible. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
was
was down
hobbling
bad.
for a
I'm in
minute.
therapy right now, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, what else is there to do? And it's cold up here and icy, but get yourself together for the spring, right? Yep.
Let's take a look at this. It's large enough for you to see.
If we
All
could see
right.
it, Scott.
Okay, there you
Okay.
go.
There we go.
There we go. I was looking at it, and they had Brooklyn getting Dylan Harper, but that's Tankathon. It's just a hypothetical mock draft, but they're apparently moving us down some more. So I have a feeling that we're going to be in the top three.
Be a great outcome. It's just did we do enough to ensure ourselves will get a top three pick? You never know. But as
Right,
long as we're out of the play-in spot and we have like the fifth worst odds if Toronto passes us, you got to feel great about at least cracking top six, which I think would be a great goal for us for that first lottery pick.
right.
But a lot still has to fall down for us. But yeah, we're in a great spot. We're getting in a great spot. Still work to be done though.
Yeah. I just hope so. I really do. Because we need a guard and we need a center
And a forward.
and a forward.
All three of those areas.
we need about 3 or 4 pieces for real. I'll be honest with you. I don't see it happening all this year though. That's the thing. Not unless it's some trades. But I don't want to do what the conventional thing of trading. I would like to like you said, John, do it organically.
Yeah, I think it's a smart thing to do, and that's why I advocate for trading Johnson and Claxton. And no offense to them, I know they have some good skill sets, but they're making over $40 million. You saw Claxton the other night get demolished by Bismarck Biombo. Guy wasn't even on a contract till like a few weeks ago, and for him to just destroy Claxton like that, it just makes you go, "Wow, we're paying this guy $27 million. He can't even beat a guy that wouldn't even play most of the season." So, and with Johnson, and with Johnson, he's giving you some offensive things, but he's kind of gone downhill since he wasn't traded. So you have a chance to move off of these two guys on draft night or this summer, take it. Because if you have their contracts off the book, you have unlimited cap space flexibility, which allows you to navigate this upcoming draft better and the following. We also have a pick for the following year. So those
Yeah,
types
that's
of
true.
things would set you up better organically. And if we get a top pick in this draft, you should want to get Johnson and Claxton off this team because they're not a part of your future. And it's crazy that Mark says Johnson's a leader for this team. The guy's going to be 30 years old a year from now. I don't need a guy leading us when he can't even average more than 13 points for most of his career. That's not exactly the guy you want to invest in, you know?
Right, right, right.
Hopefully they can figure that out for
I
sure.
hope so too. I really do. Because doing it the other way just seemed like it didn't work for us. And
Yeah.
not being able to get like a franchise players and being young, and this you gotta remember this is a young man sport. Like LeBron is a anomaly that he would be playing the 40. I don't think many people can play the 40. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Not unless you like LeBron and have the body of
A
Zeus.
god, right? Well, he stays in the gym. That's what they say. He stays in it. So, you know.
Yeah, that's why you got to take your conditioning seriously. So a guy like Zion, unlimited potential comes to the league, but now this guy's problem is not eating a burger every day, and he could still score you a decent clip. But if this guy was a lot healthier, man, could he be on a LeBron level one day? You're never gonna know unless he writes that ship. So guys like LeBron, Giannis, guys that keep himself in great conditioning. That's the reason why they play so well. And
Yeah.
some guys just don't take it as seriously as others, especially when they get paid. That's
Yeah,
another thing.
especially when they get paid.
Some guys get generational wealth, but they don't play anything close to generational wealth, and that's something I wish the NBA would fix a little bit there because you should have more incentives on guys to actually earn their money, not just get it and they play 10, 12, 15 games a year. That to me is just a horrible way to. That's how you kill your team right there.
Yeah, you're
That
right
makes
about
sense.
that. You know, once you dig that hole, it's hard to get out of too.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah, because we when we went the superstar route, I mean you sacrifice a lot. You know you sacrifice the next couple of years because you gave up so much.
Yep. And
I
you don't want to do that. We've done this twice with aging stars, and what did he get us?
nowhere.
Nothing. You know? Well, we
Nowhere.
got the second round appearance, but we were just one KD toe away from potentially being
Yeah,
a championship team. That's so
I thought
crazy.
if Kyrie didn't get hurt, we would have won that series. So, you know, but that's
Yeah.
hearsay, you know, whatever, you know, it
Right.
just,
That's why this is so important. You want to get this draft right. If you get a Ace, Cooper, Harper, that is a cornerstone guy that you can build this team around or with. It
yeah,
needs to start there. Like there's so many teams ahead of us, even teams that are bottom of the barrel right now that just beat our team like 2, 3, 4 games ago because they drafted better young talent. Like I appreciate what Jory's doing with this. I call it the junkyard squad. You know, a mix of guys fighting for their lives, but you actually want young guys that Jory can actually mold and develop. They'll be here the next 3 to 4 years. Our biggest problem the last 8 years is we have no roster continuity. Every year it's a different roster, and you
right.
can never build anything with something like that. You're just selling tickets to sell tickets, and you get a crappy product when it's all said and done. You
That's
can't do
true.
that anymore. That's definitely got to change starting now with this draft.
Yeah, I'm looking at the standings and, Lady T, we talking about like where the Nets are at. They
Uh-huh.
down at number 11. So
Yeah.
we have the Knicks draft pick, the Bucks draft pick, which is 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
and we have our own. So the key here is to try to get as low to the bottom as we can to
Mm-hmm.
get our odds to get into the top 3 draft in the draft board.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the key. But the Knicks and the Bucks, we can't really bank on that draft pick because they high up in the Eastern Conference. So their picks, their number 1 picks, even though it comes to us, will be way down at the bottom of the first round.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So if the Knicks lose, which, you know, I hate to say that, but it's money on, you know, it's like
Yeah.
somebody owe you money. You want them to give you all their money,
Right.
not just some money, you know?
Yo,
Yeah.
guys, anything you want to confess to us? Got some offshore accounts.
Yeah. We want them to lose. I mean, I hate to say that, you know, but
Listen,
as a
it's a
Net
game.
fan, I want them to come down a little bit, just a little bit. And the
Right, but you
Bucks,
know what the good thing though is, Scott? Say these picks get bunched together. Right now, the Rockets and Bucks pick are like right next to each other. And if the
yeah,
Knicks start losing without Brunson, imagine all 3 of those picks are together. Drafting 3 straight prospects sounds great for Brooklyn, but that's how you have leverage. If you could group 2 of those picks with a Cam Johnson and move down 10 slots in this draft to a team like the Spurs, you would
and be in
take
the
it,
top 10.
especially if they draft somebody that you
Yeah,
really want. Like that's how you could have leverage at the bottom right there if those
yeah.
picks are all
But
bunched
I
together.
don't think Sean Marks of the Nets is gonna. I don't know, man. I don't know about this guy. I can't
He
trust whether he's gonna do that though.
He should.
And
Listen, you know what Sean Mark's problem is? He values role players like the Cookie Monster values cookies. Like that's Sean Marks in a nutshell, man. He told all these guys, I want 2 first-round picks for Johnson. Everybody's like, like nobody was gonna give him 2 first-round picks. Like you got off scot free with 6 for Mikal. That was generous considering the Knicks just blew the whole future up for that guy. But you know, to Cam Johnson's point, he was averaging 13 points before he had these 3 great months. 3 great months is not going to erase what the guy has done most of his career. You were lucky to get 1 unprotected first and some matching salary. But John Mark's mind is like, no, I got to hold him on until he's 32 years old and averaging less than 13 points. Like that's where like John Marks has to change the philosophy. If somebody's giving you an out, you got to take it at that point. And if our out is this draft, we can move up 9 slots with trading Johnson these late picks to get a better prospect. You take it. You take it every day of the week. But Marks has to show us that. And here's the interesting thing, Scott. 8 out of the 9 last drafts, around 48 hours before draft night, Marks makes a trade type move. So maybe there could be something this summer. He should make the move. You have 31 picks to operate with. You have unlimited power in this draft. Most teams have like 2 picks in this draft. We have 31 picks. Like there should be at least one type of trade up, at least.
Yeah, at least one. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Iceman? Is he there?
I don't know. I hear you and Lady T. I don't know if there's anybody else on the show.
Guys.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We
I
got
hear you now, Ice. Oh damn, I'm like
Oh.
so damn close to the screen, man. Yo.
you.
Lady T, I didn't experience my face so close. Usually it's like back like this. Damn.
I know.
I know
Don't
Scott
worry about
zoomed
that.
on me.
I heard.
Damn, I gotta protect the merch here, Scott. Jeez.
Well, Iceman, let me introduce you to Lady T.
Hey, Iceman.
Yo, what's up, Lady T?
How you doing?
What's
That's
going
my
on?
niece. That's my niece. She's and been trying to get into the podcast thing, and she's she know a little bit about basketball. She's a Brooklyner.
Yeah, I'm a Brooklynite.
She's a Brooklynite. So how's everything? Iceman.
Yo,
Yeah.
keep hearing the echo. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's
Oh,
like
it might
delayed
be.
twice.
It might be my system. I don't know. I just got a new program. I just started using this new program.
This is the one that Hoops used, man. I remember the first time I went on, like, my whole system like blocked me out. Like I was doing fine, and somebody came on. I just got like, I got sent off to the dark net, the forbidden zone, if you will.
Oh, he cut back out, and then I guess he'll come back in.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. Lady T, you're thinking of doing podcasting? That's so cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Me and my uncle was talking about it for a little while, and it's like, you can do it because you like to talk. I'm like, yeah, I do. I like to run my mouth. What woman doesn't?
Ooh.
But I know
can
one
say it, I'm a
thing.
woman, but
It would be
backlash,
good to
what
have
we
a
do.
woman's perspective on sports,
Right.
because we don't hear that much from women.
Right.
No, facts. I totally welcome that. I wish more women talk about sports because a lot of them are very competitive. And, women's basketball has been so crazy this year, especially with
Lately. Mm-hmm.
Liberty winning that title. Like, it was so awesome to see people come together and talk about it. So,
Yeah.
if you're definitely going to do that, you definitely should. Or anything else you like to do about podcasts. I would love to do podcasts on movie reviews someday. I love watching different movies in the
Okay.
theater. Like, that would be so cool. So, if you ever want
Classics
to do
or
like that,
new or anything. Any.
anything, horror movies,
That's cool.
classic anime, stuff like that. I used to watch all the classic movies growing up. Shrek, have you? Like, I love that movie. And I can't wait for this Shrek 5 to come out because I know people are going crazy on the graphics, but it's like, what'd you expect? These characters have to age. They can't just stay the same.
They
Like
can't
The
stay the same. This
Simpsons.
is not
The
the
Simpsons,
classic Disney vault.
yeah, like The Simpsons. That's been going on for 30 seasons,
Right.
but the characters never age.
Right. I
You're
never
like, how
expect
do
The
they keep
Simpsons to
doing
age, though. I don't know why. They haven't done it, so it's like.
it? I know.
How long?
That's what,
That's like got to be one of the longest running shows
Yeah.
on TV.
Law and Order SVU is. They've been going for 25 seasons, but I think that's the longest anime show
Oh,
in
okay.
That's what you
now, The
meant.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Law and Order is probably the most active
Mhm.
TV series ever. Like I used to watch all the Law and Order growing up. It was either that or pro wrestling. Like,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
We can talk
Wait,
about
what?
that.
What's with the uh-oh?
Because
Yeah,
I
can you
think
hear me?
everybody watched.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right.
I think at some point. I grew up with uncles.
Was it
Both of
me or
them.
was it you, Iceman?
It
Oh,
was me. I
Oh,
had to
okay.
get off YouTube while I into the studio. I had to take YouTube off my laptop.
Right. I want to bring up a question to everybody. Do we go with a sender first or a guard? Because I'm conflicted. I know we need both, but in our first pick, our own pick, would it be better to take a center?
It depends. My opinion is it depends on what comes up first, right? Because, like I was saying, between the first five, there are no more of them. But the centers get interesting as you go further down the draft. You know what I mean? Because you can say Queen is a center, you can say Sorber is a center. You got Kalkbrenner, you got Danny Wolf, you got Maxim Reynard, right? And
Yeah.
and they 7-foot guys, and you still got Maluwatch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's like 5 or 6. So they all different too.
They
The
are
further
different.
down, the more skill you get. You know what I mean? As a type of queen. Queen is higher, but he's shorter,
Right.
right?
Right.
So further down, you get more skill, and you get the most of them been 4 years in college. That's further down.
Would that
So they're
scare
more.
you that Queen is shorter?
It doesn't scare me because I seen what you was talking about when I watched the Michigan game,
Right.
and I seen 2 7-footers. He had problems stopping them, but they also had problems stopping him. So I'm like, you know what I mean?
Right.
NBA
Right.
might be a little bit tougher, but he has enough skill to score on people that's taller than him. So it doesn't scare me. It's just the NBA is a little bit different, a little bit quicker. It's not as
Right.
slow and more spacing. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 Because I know in the conference that Queen plays in the basketball he meets a lot of 7-footers.
Right.
So I figured I haven't actually seen him play Duke or the rest of them with their 7-footers,
Mhm.
but I seen him play with people, like his height, and he destroyed them. So
Right.
I was like, this guy's footwork is excellent. You know what I'm saying? So I was saying to myself, he seemed like he can handle a 7-footer because of his weight. I don't know. I don't know if we would take it. I mean, I love Queen though. I love him.
Like I said, with him, I think it's a gamble. But if you get Queen, I would still draft a center after. I would still draft a 7-footer,
Right.
just in case, right? Just in
Right.
case purposes. If you ended up drafting him early, you will have to get. I think you would want to get
A
because all the
real
centers at the bottom of the draft can score. They can score. They're not just shot blockers or rebounders. They can
yeah.
score the
I
ball.
watched Donnie Wolf play, and
Yeah.
he could score.
Yeah, so all 3 of them, Sorber, 4 of them at the bottom, they could all score. So I mean, Sorber's 6'10" too. So
Yeah.
I would go for like the 7 foot, but just in case purposes, I wouldn't mind drafting him, but I would have to draft a center anyways. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Just in
Right.
case.
Right. Well, welcome, Leaf LM. We got a special guest, Lady T. That's my
That
niece.
what's going on?
All right.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just outside. I'm about to get in the car in a second.
Oh, okay. Well, you working? You working, Leaf?
Nah, I ain't working.
Oh, okay. All
I went
right.
to Chipotle.
Oh, okay. What's up,
Fine.
LM? Oh, he's offline. Okay. He'll come back. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's my thinking is like I was telling John the same thing. Like, he wanna move down in the draft and see if we can swing like but see my thing is I'm conflicted with that too because I wanna do it, but I don't think Sean Marks know how to pull that off.
He
And I
should
don't
That's
think
that's what
about
I'm
it.
saying.
I
He's
don't
got
think
he's got
he
31 picks out, bro. Like you'd be a fool if there's a guy out there that a team has, but they want to get an upgrade vet. We have a few vets on the team. Like it makes sense if the opportunity presents itself. If it doesn't present itself, you know what? Draft who you got to draft, and you'll go from there. But if
right,
there's
right,
a Derek Queen or Jeremiah Fears, we don't have one of those guys with our lottery pick. Go after him. Carpe diem. Seize the day, Sean Marks. Prove to the people that don't believe in you, you can be strategic. You can take a risk that can actually pay off. But he
He
has to do
can't.
it. This is the most important draft in Brooklyn Nets history right now with our first ever lottery pick. But it's not just a lottery pick as well. After you get that, you got to look at what can I do with these other picks. Do I just want to draft who I want to draft, or do I want to take another swing and show people, hey, there is a game plan here. We're going young, but we're building an actual damn core. That's what
right.
we really need to get to the bottom
I
of.
don't know if Sean Marks can pull
Sean
that off.
Sean Sean Marks is not capable of pulling off what you thinking
Then he
at
should be
all,
fired.
bro.
Leaf. If that's the case, he should be fired. And let's get a Bob Myers. If this guy's 8 years. He's had 1,000 cat lives on this team. That big three debacle. Any other team, he would have been fired. So he needs to make do out of all the shields he's used. There ain't no shields coming after this. If we don't hit on this
John.
draft, we're
What
screwed from
what
the get at that point.
The
was the
thing
question?
about it is, John, bro, like the shields that you talking about, bro, like it's already gone. Like not only did he use them, they was used in basically in spite of him, bro. Like he's one of them wait your turn GMs. That's what he is. That's how we got in the position that we in. He didn't bring up that trade for McHale for 6 picks. If that trade is done over a million times, brother, Knicks probably say no in hindsight. Realistically, so like, listen, we got what we got. The owner's cool with him because he's a guy that he could just push around. Bob Myers, as far as I know, he's on sabbatical in Washington with the Commanders, and we got what we got, bro. Like it is what it is, man. As far as the front office or the core being changed in the next couple of years, I see it, but it's gonna take some time. That's all it is.
It's
Yeah,
going to take time, but it'd be nice if we could pull something surprising and get 2 lottery picks. The whole
We can't
narrative
put
on
nothing
Marks and Joe
surprising.
would
We
change.
can't get that out your head. We can't do it.
In this draft, you don't need 2 lotteries. That and if you look at like I keep saying, you look at the players that's towards 20, you
right.
don't need a second lottery pick. You just need to draft
Under that
strategically.
20, you think?
Once
One
you
under the 20 and one under the 10?
yeah, like
I
because
would like to get Thomas Sorber if he's in that top 20. If we don't have a big, he would be a great big of the future. That would be a home run for Sean Marks to draft somebody like Sorber, an effective rebounder, a guy who can score at the rim field goal wise, and he makes your center position way better than it is now. That would be somebody I would really like to get one of our 20 picks if the opportunity
again,
presented itself.
if you draft Sorber, I would draft another big because look at Miami, who's been running with Bam for so long and went and got Khalil Weir. You know what I mean? 7-footer who
Yeah,
does
that's true.
everything. You know what I'm saying? So you want when you have Sorber or Queen, you need to draft another big. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Mm,
gotta have one.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. I can live with one in the 10 and one in the 20. I mean, I would love to have one in the 3 and one in the 15, but looking at the listing, looking at our draft picks, the Knicks and the Bucks are not cooperating.
The Knicks one might fall a bit, but the Bucks have a tough schedule as well. Both the Knicks and Bucks still have pretty much the toughest schedules. The two of the top 14 are the toughest one. Yeah, so anything could happen. But if they're grouped together, if it's like one pick next to the other, you have leverage there. It's rare that teams draft pick by pick unless a team wants to trade with them. So that could be a power move for us as well. Just something to consider. Like I agree with Ice. If you have a diamond in the rough there that you really value, like a Thomas Sorber or Boogie Fland or Miles Bird, somebody I should talk about as well. You want to explore that too, but you
Right.
also have to be prepared to pivot as well if a team wants to trade with you. So I feel like we're in a great position there because we have vets that some teams want, and we have multiple assets to move around this draft. It's just I hope it's an active night for us. I don't want it to just be we draft who's everywhere. I want us to consider if we move up to like 2026 some draft picks, we trade with other teams with draft picks. Like there's different ways to attack this draft without necessarily just drafting the players, Ice? Like there's different ways to attack this draft. I think we could do it that way as well.
What you think about that, Ice? Ice might not be there.
Say it again. Say it again. I missed it.
He missed
No,
it.
I was saying like there's other ways for us to navigate this draft. Like we could trade back to get picks for next year's draft. There's like different ways to navigate and not just drafting the prospects per se, but we can move picks around as well. We have 31 picks to operate with. Like there's different ways for us to set ourselves up down the line as well. Like wouldn't you be happy with that too, Ice? If we could also trade picks for the following year as well, if the opportunity
For,
presents itself too.
for 2026.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, try to get a pick in the 2026 draft.
because
Yeah.
we got two for that, right? One in the first and one in the second round.
Yeah, one in
I
first,
think we
one in
already got two.
second.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think we're fine because you got five picks in this one and two in that one. You know what I mean? So I think that's fine. Like I was saying before on Breezy's podcast, right? Once you get 5 rookies, you won't be that good. So you got a chance. You know what I mean? I mean Jordy coaches well, but with 5 rookies, if you keep all 5 rookies, you got a
Right.
chance to lose in big time easy. You're gonna look like the wizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna end up at the bottom just because of 5 rookies. No matter how good they really are, they're gonna show potential, but your team overall isn't gonna be that good. We got pieces on here that might stay, that might help a little bit of the wins, but the rookies won't help you as much. You know what I mean? You might get one or two that does something nice. So you're gonna end up with a chance at AJ or one of them. Let's say top 4, top 5 next year,
Right.
just because. So I don't really think you need to trade and to get picks for next year, because I think if you pick right this year and you draft one of them in the top 5, you should be on your way.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Let's see. Let me take a look at that. Behind the scene. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Let me see they draft picks. 2026. Yeah, one our own, and second round our own. Yeah. We don't we also got Atlanta second round. I didn't know that. I forgot about that.
So that's 2 second rounds.
That's 2 second rounds and 1 first.
So that's what I'm saying, John. We good for next year. That's straight.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, this is great. This year is great, but next year it's good. That's good
Yeah,
enough.
but it doesn't hurt to have an extra first or two, I'm saying. Like, beefing up next year's draft would be advantageous too, because you want to be able to be flexible no matter what situation you're in the draft, and be able to select your picks is important. We can have what? We can have 4 picks, something like that. So that's going to be great for us. And we also have the second rounder, so 5 picks. That's huge. If you
Well,
can move picks around, though, as well, to position yourself for the following year, I think it's something to explore, not necessarily just draft the prospects. So I think there's a way for Marks to be very active on draft night. Just he has to take these chances. Leaf was saying that Marks ain't that guy. Maybe Marks can change the script up this year. Show us he can be that strategic, because you need to be in this draft.
well,
Like I used to say, this draft is full of many different solid players. Whether they're starters, superstar potential, or role players, you want to get at least a mix. You want to get a mix of these guys, so you're covered at all bases, and that's what Marks has to focus on. Don't get redundant players that are the same thing that we got on this team right now. Switchability, flexibility, and versatility. Those are the 3 types of factors we should be looking into in all these prospects that we really want to draft, because we need to get out of the mundane roster we have right now that's very one dimensional.
right.
Right. So that's why I'm saying you shouldn't do that, because like I keep mentioning this guy Isaiah Evans on Duke, right? Who came off the bench, and now I seen in some drafts he's making his way to the first round, right? He's shooting better than JJ Redick when he played for Duke, and he's coming off the bench, and they got him towards the bottom of the first round, and he is Isaiah Evans is 6'7" wing, right? Plays defense, shoot incredible threes offensively. That right there will be a steal, because they're saying at first they were saying that he should go back to college. Maybe he should stay. Now they're saying he definitely should be in the draft. You know what I mean? And they got him at the bottom of the first round. Like, if you give up, you don't draft, you give up, or you try to move up, you miss out on somebody like that. So my thing is, you will want to take a chance, seeing that first of all he's on the bench. Second, he comes into the game and he's shooting better than JJ Redick. You know what I mean? But he's a better player, all around player, than JJ Redick ever was, even for Duke right now. You know what I mean? And JJ is a legend for Duke for shooting threes. But Isaiah has an all around. He's compared to Brandon Ingram, right? That's they say that's baby Brandon Ingram, but he's on the bench, is what I'm saying. So if you see him at the bottom of the draft in your 20s, in your 25s, and your 28s, that right there is typically a steal for you if you land and you grab him. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
I wouldn't trade my picks, because players like that is what you wanna aim for. You know what I mean? And
Right,
that
I
way,
agree with
when you
you.
go back to school next year, that's why I asked that question on Twitter and stuff like that. Do you think he should go back? Some people say yes. A lot of people say the draft scouts say ain't no way. You know what I mean? He too good to be even sitting on the bench for Duke.
Right, right.
And you know what the great thing is? The second round pick we have, it's around 36 to 37. In a second round, that's like the 6 or 7 pick if you were doing a first round. So that could be advantageous for Brooklyn too. That second round pick. There's this guy like he's a small forward, Carter Bryant, 225 pounds. He does a little bit of everything: athletic finish at the rim, solid defense, speed, quickness, physicality. The only thing is he doesn't have a set offensive system within himself yet, but he has all those raw skill sets you would want in a prospect type player. If we miss out on an ace or a Cooper or a top forward in that upper echelon of the draft, I would try to get a Carter Bryant in the second round if he's there. You know, if you have to address the forward position, so I'd be open to something like that potentially getting Carter Bryant. If you've have you seen much with his game ice, or you don't feel like we should go after him?
I seen him. I slept on him a little bit, and I seen a game with him recently, saying exactly what you were saying. He has a lot of things that he can do, but he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have. He can't really drive to the rim. He's not a. He doesn't. He can't really create for himself that well. But he is like 6'8", right? He is like
Right.
6'8", a wing. So it
And he's
had
got
me
the body weight already. Some of these guys are around 180, 190 pounds. This guy's already 225.
right.
That's,
He is bigger. So I was thinking, I'm like, hold on, maybe I should look at him a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? But then
right.
I feel like you said, he'll be. I mean, even though he's 6'8", he might be redundant to the guys that we have. So I looked at him. I wasn't sure about him. I seen LM talk about him. I hear you talk about him. So I'll take closer look at him. But he's in the same range as Miles Bird and Kalkbrenner and there's somebody else in that range too. Maxim Reynard, he might go in the first round though, but there's a lot of guys in that range that you can get a steal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on that. That's why there are definitely some good prospects to look out for. And if those three picks we have in the 20 round all fall down to like 20, 21, 22, 23, like there's some great power there because we kind of get those top prospects left in that upper echelon of the well, bottom echelon of the draft. So that could be an advantage for us as well. It's just I hope that the Sean Marks draft scouting department is really looking at who fits the system, but who could be versatile. Like I would be fine if every pick we get this year has some type of versatility to their game because you need that right now in the NBA. You don't want one-dimensional type players anymore. You want guys that can do different roles depending on matchups and all that. And I think for Brooklyn, we need to figure that out. I think Sean Mark's biggest problem in all the rosters I've seen, there's a lot of errors there. Like there's players that are very one-dimensional and have that versatility. Like Bruce Brown, I really liked when he was on his team because he really became that Swiss Army knife. He could do so many things. Heck, he was our small ball center and he can knock the three down, the bunny shot, passes, defense, all that. I would like players like that on our team right now. Guys that can do a little bit of everything. Because I think that's what Jordy would thrive on, and it would make our offense more dynamic. I feel like we can't have an offensive dynamic until you have versatile offensive players. Like I like Cam Thomas, but if you put another shot creator next to him, it's just really be those two guys doing all the work, and you're banking on them. I'd rather have 3 to 4 guys that are switchable, versatile, and flexible, and could do many different roles on this team. I think that would make our offense way better than what it is right now.
Well, that's what they're looking for, right? That's why they keep going down to the G League and scouting and keep Derek Whitehead because he is one of them players, and Tyrese Martin is one of them players, and Jalen Wilson. You know what I mean? He has a little bit creation, but he's not big time. So that's what they're trying to get away from the really like the Cam Johnsons, right? But he is a good player, but they want to get away from that. They want the all around guys and stuff like that. So that's why I keep saying you don't want to trade those picks because those guys are in the later rounds. Most of the guys that we mentioned do multiple things. There isn't one person that just does one thing. Ace doesn't do one thing. VJ doesn't do one thing. Queen doesn't do one thing. Kalkbrenner, none of those guys do one thing. They all do multiple things. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just that
Right.
Jordy likes defensive guys, hustle guys, and he would like a Queen, and he would like a Reynard type player because they can pass, they could be hubs, they can score, and they could defend. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
and Miles Bird,
Reynard the center, right? 7 foot of center, you said, Reynard?
yeah, yeah, Reynard, Max
Listen,
Reynard.
if Marks can actually draft a guy over 7 feet, I will give him a win. I will say, finally, you got out of that phobia of not drafting tall players. You need one. You look where the league is going with the Zach Edey's, the Porzingis, is like all these top teams have a big that can handle matchups, and either they're a cheat code for your team or they're a piece that gets you 15 to 16 points to win a finals game. Like, we need that right now. Like, no disrespect to Claxton, but he's like an undersized power forward on most nights, even against like Bismack Biyombo. And even though he gives you defensive effort on some nights against Joel Embiid on one leg, you really need a big that can really match up. And I feel like we're never going to be a serious team unless we find that guy. So to Scott's question, if we have the 6 through 10 pick, I would consider a Mal Walker or Derek Queen at that point. You need a big that can actually handle matchups and offensively contribute more than what Dayron and Claxton are giving you. So I'm actually even more open-minded if we miss out on top 4 or 5. If we have our 6 or 7 pick, think about going after a big. You need one. That's a huge area of need that we have
Six
to address.
6 through 10 is tricky depending on who's there, right?
Right.
Because you still might have what 4,
Oh man, this guy
5.
for real right now.
Yeah, um you yeah, there's gonna be some guys between 6 and 10, and it's gonna be not an easy choice to pick. You know what I mean? Who's there? Because you got Maluach, but like I said, he's raw, and then you got skill guys like Brenner and Reynard who can handle the ball and take your center to the cup from the 3-point line. They could create for themselves and drive to the basket, or they could post up. You know what I mean? And do multiple things, and create havoc, being a center. So drafting Maluaj because he's younger and raw, or you want a more skilled, ready, you know what I mean? Like a skilled, ready guy, or you go for Queen and then you draft a bigger, you know what I'm saying? It's so many options to go. So whoever you pick between 6 to 10 is kind of tricky, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta think, like they saying, you want to draft someone that with potential to be, you know what I mean, either a rising star or something like that, who you think would be something like that, or draft a really good player like Fears, Maluach, Queen. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
there's options. There's plenty of options to go with. You guys just gotta strategize when you get towards the lower part of the draft, whoever you draft first.
Right, I agree. And I hope we get it big. Getting it big in this draft would be a great way just towards getting somebody that you really need to fix this team as far as center position goes, whether that be with a lottery or with the Thomas Swober in the back end. So if we could come away with this one center in this draft, I feel like that's better than what you have right now. And Dayron, unfortunately, I feel like I would consider letting him go. If I get a Swober or one of these bigs, I would consider letting Dayron go. I just feel like with Claxton, he gets 31 minutes a night. Dayron right now gets around 16 and 19 minutes a night, which means he plays on the court 4.5 minutes a game. And if he's not in a rhythm, he gets into foul trouble. So it's like you bring Dayron back, it's kind of like the same things. Some nights he'll be good, other nights he'll be in foul trouble, or he can't dribble the ball. And it's like if you could find a big that can do way more than Dayron, you would probably choose that guy over Dayron. If you trade Claxton this summer, you keep Dayron and you draft this other big. Like I really think we need to reset center position this summer. I just think the combination of Claxton and Dayron works as far as beating the best teams in the NBA right now. I mean, do you kind of get that feeling, Ice, based on what you've seen this year with Dayron and Claxton and the minutes disparity and all that?
Yeah. See, the thing with them is they need them two need stars. They don't need regular role players, and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. They need stars. Clax needs a star. Clax always looks better. You already seen. He
Yeah,
looks
he
better.
do
He does more when he has better talent around him, right?
for sure.
And it's not really scoring for him. Is all the other things that he does when he has talent and the floor is spread and stuff like that. And I think Dayron would benefit from the same. So from your point, like there's about 7 to 8 7-footers in this draft. And I know the Nets were scouting Rugo Zarowski,
Mm-hmm.
from the Australian League. You know, that's a Mark special. They were scouting him, and he's a 7-footer, 7 foot guy. He stretched the floor a little bit, doesn't shoot the three that well, but he can. And he's a shot block guy and a rebounder. So they are looking. I know they scouted him. I don't know who else they scouted at 7 foot, but he's in the 40s. I believe he's in the 40s in the draft.
Right.
Very interesting. Yeah,
You know?
like there's so many fun ways we can navigate this draft. Like there's many different routes. I just hope on draft night that this organization could put on a master class. Like get the right draft picks that balance this team out, meet your areas of need. I think with Scott, I agree with Scott. Like getting a forward, a center, and a point guard is probably a lot to ask for unless you do trade up. But say you don't, if you come away with a point guard and a center, a lot to work with there. If you get a lottery pick point guard, great. If you could get a Thomas Sorber in the later part of this draft to be your center of the future, great. Like that's how you meet your areas of need and you prepare for the following draft. So if we could come away with just the beginnings of a core on this team, I think you have a lot to look forward to, especially since Thomas and Clowney are likely going to be part of that core. So if you add a Dylan Harper and a Thomas Sorber, wow, we already have four pieces right there. You have your point guard in Harper, your scoring guard in Thomas, your forward, your power forward potentially in Clowney, and then you have your big in Sorber. We're kind of just missing that third small forward type guy. So you're already halfway there a little bit. So that's how you could kind of win this draft. It's just Marks has to make the right moves. That's really what it'll come down to.
And I don't trust Sean Marks.
I don't either, man. I wish we could get a guy like Bob Myers, but from what I'm hearing is Philly might have the inside track on Bob Myers because Bob Myers knows the president of the 76ers or something like that. So unfortunately, we might not get a shot at that guy. And I think Marks' contract is up this year, Ice. I could have sworn I read something where his contract might be up this year. Do you think they re-up his contract or they just look for somebody else
Nah,
at this
his
point?
contract is not up, I don't believe, but he's moving to another position, I believe. That's what it is. He's not
Mm,
that whatever he is now, he's supposed to move it to something else. Whatever that is in the company, he's sliding up. So I don't know if somebody else they're gonna try to get somebody else for his role. But I would say I trust Sean at getting players. I don't necessarily trust him in trading. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
that's what I
him
don't
getting
trust.
players,
Yeah.
I think he gets players. I
He know
think
how to
his
pick
trading
them.
is off.
He know how to pick them, but he just doesn't do well trading them.
Right.
Trading
right, and
for
that's a
them.
problem.
No.
That's
And
why if
giving
he's
it to
going
him.
new position, let it be like the head of the draft department or something. Find a GM that can do all the business details and all that, all the trades, the big moves. Because I think Mark's problem is he doesn't have the mindset of a businessman. Look at like Bob Marks. He was able to keep a core intact of some of the best players ever, but he was able to reshuffle the bench to win him four championships. Marks has shown you it's easy to get the stars, but what do you put around it is something Mark struggles with a lot. And I feel like if you had a GM that knows roster balance, I think those problems becomes easy solutions. And with Marks, just make him the head of the drafting department. If he wants to focus on that, that's fine. But you need a guy that can take this team to a different level. I just think with Marks, every year we're either going up a little bit and then we go backwards. We go up a little bit and then we go backwards. Like that's got to change right now. And I
Yeah.
feel like it starts with having somebody new in charge. And if Marks
Yeah.
wants to still be a part of Brooklyn, promote him to head of draft or something. Let him work with that scouting department a little bit more closely as the president or something like that, and get a
I,
real
I
GM.
think he can scout pretty well. I mean, he does pretty well with his picks. But that being said, when he got Katie and Kyrie and Harden, that set you back. That move set you back because now when you're trying to get rid of them or dump them or whatever the case may be or whatever the situation was, he had to take pretty much anything. He was at their mercy. He wasn't. The cards are not in your deck. Otherwise,
Right.
you know. So now you trying to dump and it sets your team back. It sets your team back. So
Yeah. I think now that they have some other guys to help, the dude from Denver
right,
and Jordy, I
right,
think that helps him to build a roster now. It's not, you know what I mean? He
right,
had a decent drafting team,
right.
but I think with these two guys, they should be able to build a roster this time around.
That's
Seeing the type
decent.
of play that Jordy's looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think so. I think it's going to work out. It's just going to take a little time, 1 or 2 years. This market doesn't require like OKC that you can wait 5 years. Like
No.
LM said that he wished that they just stick with their young players. But if a young player doesn't produce quickly in this market, It's
Lay it out.
hard.
You know
It's
Lay
what
it
the
hard.
crazy you know what the craziest thing is? OKC is in like the greatest power position you could ever hope to be in any type of sport, but now they're coming up to a problem here. If they don't win this year, they're going to next year's draft with this year's draft with like 3 or 4 picks or something that could go to them if certain teams' records aren't where they're supposed to be. So they already have like a roster of 14 out of 15 guys. Do they trade those picks to move back? Do they move players? Like that's the negative of having all those picks is if you're a team that's ready to contend for something, you have to start moving pieces around. I feel
I
like with
think
Brooklyn, we need to
I
get
think
the pieces
I
first
think
before we
Iceman
get
was
to that
just
position.
putting that out there that you can't have but so many picks. You
Right.
know, this is the problem OKC going to have next year or the year after.
That's why I
Between
thought they should have traded for Johnson because you look at the guys that aren't playing on their team right now. Who are the guys again? Kenrich Williams and Usman Dieng. They didn't play against us the last time we faced them. They
I
were just
know,
riding the bench. So it's like if you don't win, you kept those guys over a guy like Johnson that can give you 15 to 16 points on a good night to guarantee you have a shot at winning title. So maybe their team we could also look with at draft night. I look at the Spurs and OKC as two teams that are likely going to try to trade those picks with some of their younger players to get veteran type guys to keep being a championship team. I feel like that's where we could come in very highly because we have all the flexibility in the world to pull something off like that. It's just, will March do it? We're going to have to wait and see
so
for that.
maybe keeping Johnson might have been a good move
yeah.
Maybe, but you got to trade him
next
like
year.
around next year. He's going to be 30 years old like in a year from now. And it's like his numbers have kind of regressed to what they're supposed to be around 14, 15 points. I know he had a great game the other night, but before that, he was having some just very average games. And at this point, I'm like, why don't we just evaluate the young guys? Johnson's had a good season, but you're kind of ruining his value playing these games where his numbers are dipping. I would just rest Johnson and let the young Maxwell Lewis's and the Derek Whiteheads get run so we could see what they're about, see if they offer something for the following year. But if you're just going to bench these young guys and play Johnson and D'Lo into the ground, I just don't see how that's productive towards us getting answers on who really fits this team. You know, I
Right.
feel
Right.
like that's something Mark should do. I'm glad Johnson's not playing tomorrow against the Hornets. Maybe we'll see Derek Whitehead get some minutes because he really has a lot riding on this season. I thought he was going to get run these last 20 games to show us if he's worthy of a roster spot. He's dealt with a lot of injuries so far, and if you draft really good players, how's Whitehead gonna have a spot on this team next year? I don't really see it if he's not getting any play right now. I can
Right.
see
Right.
Right.
Whitehead potentially be moved out this team if you get really
Now,
good draft players.
see, the thing is, keeping Cam is a good thing, right? Like I always point out, Washington, regardless of the age, you gotta get veterans, right? Cam is already here. D'Lo might not be, right? You don't got too many old, you don't got too many old guys. Remember that. I always say the Nets have already a ton. They got more than 8 young guys. You know what I'm saying? They got more than half the roster of
Yeah,
young guys,
yeah, they
right?
do.
And you're gonna run into the same problem where I keep saying if you draft 5 guys with your 8, that's majority of the roster, right? Then you still got your G League young players, that you scouting like Tyson Etienne, that's just made got his 2-way contract, right? So they constantly looking for young players, and you're gonna
Right.
overload at some point in time. You're gonna have to
Uh,
do the same thing as OKC. You're gonna have to move some of these, and you're gonna have a kind of big contract to take up some of the money. And then, like OKC, you're gonna have to filter through your young players to see who stays and who don't. They're gonna end up in the point where they gotta pay a lot of players at the same time,
Yep.
or they're gonna have to move someone. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have 2 problems.
Yeah. I see it. I see it. I see it already. I think a lot of teams are just waiting for them to dump some of them young players.
Yeah, because you can't hold everybody, and you can't hold a draft pick to draft more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you,
Once you reach that talent level, you got your bench got talent. You got young talent on your bench that can
right.
produce or can be, groomed to produce. And you just it's just a waste.
Facts. Derek Whitehead, John. Derek doesn't need to play in the NBA floor. He don't need to get run up here. He needs to stay down there until he get his legs back. That's his problem. His confidence for his shot is coming back, but he doesn't have his legs still. And he's even in the G League, he has trouble driving to the lane and elevating on layups and stuff like that. So it's difficult for him to to do that in the NBA if he's having the problems down in the G League doing that. So I think over the summer, he should be getting his legs back. He should be getting some of his jumping ability back. And if that comes back, then you know what I'm saying, next year maybe he comes up early and not stay in the G League.
Yeah, he's on the bench, ain't he?
Right now he's on
Wow.
the bench. But I just feel like the smart thing would be, since we're prioritizing lottery pick, rest Johnson, D'Lo, and Claxton. Let Dayron and Clowney start together. I'd love to see Dayron and Clowney get 2 to 3 games with just the two of them. See what they can do together. See what Whitehead could do with Thomas. Like, I want to see these combinations to see who could play well with Thomas or Clowney and see if they have a shot on this team. I think if you have Johnson, D'Lo, and Claxton playing, it's like, wow, we don't even know if these three guys will be on our team next year. Like,
Right.
because of their values and what they could do to other teams. So I hope that the Johnson thing tomorrow with him not playing is a sign of we're going to rest these vets more, manage their minutes, and let the young guys get more burn, because you want to see if they could truly offer something. I know Whitehead needs more time, but he's up right now, and it'd be great to see what he could do for a few games, because I think he has the most pressure, given if we draft higher players, his timeline for this team is going to get a lot more stressful for him. And I don't think anybody wants that, but that's why you have to take advantage of the minutes there in front of you. But Joey right now isn't given those minutes because he's riding the vets. And I just feel like as the season winds down, let's let the young guys get burned. Let's see what they can do and evaluate them. This should be an evaluation period. Forget the wins. Just evaluate and see how they play with the other guys who are going to be on our team
Right,
in
right,
the
right.
next season or something like that.
But
Yeah.
I hear what Ice is saying, though.
at the same time, they are being evaluated. Like just like Jordy said about Killian, I seen
Mhm.
Killian. Y'all haven't seen Killian. Like he knows these guys already. You know what I'm saying? He see the behind the scene, who does what, who's where. You know what I mean? As your Tyrese Martin's said, he deserves the contract the way he works and stuff like that. Then you see, you know, games where he does show up and show out, and you're like, okay, you know, he's not consistent, but it's there, and he already knows that. So the guys like Derek, I'm pretty sure he's seen Derek. Um, um, Tyson Etienne. I know if you're not watching the G League, then you don't know too much about him. Like he's 6'2" on the side. He's really a two guard, but he plays point guard. He's quick, fast, and he is a 3-point lights out shooter. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting to see if he gets a chance because they took away Kendall Brown's two-way and gave it to him, right? So it's interesting to see what they gonna do because they looking for players. They still scouting. You know what I mean? Throughout the whole year, they've been looking in the G League, scouting, looking for some young talent to bring up to see what they can do. But the point is, they don't have the reason D'Lo plays is because they don't have another point guard. As you seen last game, Tyrese Martin, and the 2 games, Tyrese Martin been the backup point guard for the second unit. You know what I mean? So
Right.
D'Lo has to play.
If you were the GM, Ice, would you have kept Killian Hayes and actually give him a real contract and bought out D'Lo as soon as on his teams? In my mind, I thought when he did the Dennis move, Killian got called up, and him and Thomas, when Thomas came back, they would have played together to see if Hayes could potentially be our tank commander point guard for this year and the following, and then you would cut him loose when you start getting those top prospects. Would that have been a more ideal version for our rebuild than letting D'Lo run point when he's at the tail end of his starter career? He's more of a backup at this point. Would you have
No,
kept Killian over D'Lo if given the
no.
choice?
The problem is right when you trade for D'Lo, and he's a better point guard than Killian, right? For right now, for what you've seen, right? You would keep D'Lo because Killian was in the G League, and he can't get another two-way, so he will have to get a regular contract. And the problem with that is you gave Tyrese Martin the regular contract, so there wasn't no space for him. Only another two-way was left, and that's why Kendall Brown and Tyson Etienne got the two-way. So there was no space for Killian to get a regular standard contract. And they said it was towards the end of the season, only 20 games left. So they wasn't sure if they were going to put him back on the G League team or sign him to another 10-day. Well, they said they wasn't going to sign him to another 10-day because it didn't make sense for the games. You know what I mean? So that's why they
Mm.
brought Tyson Etienne up and not Kendall Brown to try, I guess, to try to run the second point guard unit. You know what I mean? So Killian his timing was bad.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but if I thought Marks would call him after the Dennis move and let's see what he could have done before he did the deal trade. You could evaluate Hayes for at least 2 months, and then when Dealer came, you could have said, "All right, did Killian do enough to warrant having an actual spot, and Deal will just buy him out. Clearly, they didn't trust Hayes because of what happened with Detroit. But still, I like Killian because you know what you're going to get for him. He's not going to impact your winning much. He's going to just distribute the ball. But he was listening to Jordy. He had 19 points after Jordy said, listen, I like he's passing the ball, but I need more assertiveness. And he definitely got the message. I'll give Jordy credit. A lot of these guys listen to what he asks, and they actually do what he asks. And that's a very hard thing to get from players in this league. But with D'Lo, we were 8-9 with him, and I'm glad we're out of the playing conversation. But we were half a game away just because D'Lo was more impactful than Killian. So it's more of a preference for me. If I was doing this, the right way, I would just went with Killian Hayes over D'Lo. But I understand Marks wanted to sell some economic tickets, bring nostalgia back. But I hope as we become a more serious team and get a core, I hope we just get away from nostalgia. What happened in 2019 happened in 2019. Let's move forward with fresh faces and guys that can make a new culture for this team. When you bring back the Dinwiddies and D'Los, it's like we bring LeVert back. Like, we shouldn't go backwards. We should just go forwards. And what D'Lo has shown you is he might have a chance of getting a contract with us, maybe a 1-year deal if we don't get a point guard in this draft. But still, I hope we get a point guard because if you bring D'Lo back, he's going to have to accept a backup point guard rule, which I think is good for D'Lo and his longevity if he wants to stay in the NBA. I think he has to accept the six-man role at this point because with D'Lo, physicality-wise, he doesn't do anything on defense.
He paused.
Oh yeah, he paused. He sure enough did.
Yo, the reason why Killian was hurt during
Yeah.
that Dennis trade, so
Right.
he had to recover, and then he wasn't playing as well at first. He got
Right.
the season, and
Right.
he
Right.
didn't. So that's why they gave him the contract because he's been up longer. He's been putting in the work. So I think they go by players. I'm not saying gonna say longevity, but players they look at longer, like Tyrese that's been on two-way. They'd rather give him the contract than Killian.
Right. I think. Yeah. I kind of agree. Yeah. I think that's the main reason. That's the main reason. But I thought Derek should have got some more burn time. I understand the part where you think that he needs to be in a G League longer, which is true because you can see. I watched Derek play in college, and he don't look nowhere near that.
Right. He don't
I
got
think
his
it's
legs.
his confidence. Really, it could be some of his confidence.
That too. He said he felt like he got some of his confidence back, but I see it in his shot. I'm starting to see his dribble and his crossover come back.
Yeah.
He hit a game winner with a crossover step back.
Right.
To,
Yeah, we
yeah,
hear you. I
Yeah, I
hear you.
went out there for a little bit. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
yeah. He hit a crossover dribble step back for three. So I think it was a game winner.
Right.
And I was like, okay, he's starting to get that rhythm back. He's starting to get his dribble back. But his legs, as far as going to the rim and trying to elevate, he just don't got it. It's just not there, and that's the part of his game where he needs, in the NBA level, where that like the Rick you was talking about from Duke,
Right.
that
Right.
level, yeah, that
Yeah.
will put him back there. But those legs, it's not there. It's gonna take some time for his legs to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's gonna take him some time. I was checking out the draft board, and we already know. I already know that I believe in Sean picking. You know how Sean Marks remind me of? He reminds me of somebody who you give something bad to, and he does well. But if you give him something good, he does bad.
Yeah, he mess it up.
You know what I'm saying?
So is that good or is that bad, Scott? I don't know if that's amazing.
I can't even figure that out, man. It's like you give him a bad pick or a bad position, and he'll turn it into gold. But if you give him something that we definitely good, for some reason he'll fuck that up. I mean, I don't know how you do that, but Sean
Funny.
Marks is he picks well in later rounds. That I can give him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He,
that's what's so different. He finally has a lottery pick. Let's see what he
we
could do
don't.
with that and see
Yeah,
what
we don't need no
what's
later
different
rounds
about
though.
that.
We need a couple of early rounds, man. We
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you have a
uh,
chance to get the top talent, you don't miss out on an opportunity like that. Like imagine Marks got a top lottery pick and he traded back, everybody would be like, "Get him out of here!
No,
It's insane!"
they burned the Barkley down.
yeah.
They burned the Barkley
Oh,
down.
I'm telling you, the Barkley fans are going to fill up Barclays. I'm telling you, there'll be people outside the building, inside the building, because they want to be a part of history. And there's going to be a whole bunch of podcasts. I'll be honest, there'll be podcasts doing live streams. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
an historic night, and you hope that it goes the way you really do want to go. Whether it's getting a top one, a two, a three, a four, or a five pick, any one of those five scenarios, Brooklyn fans would be happy. If you don't get any one of those scenarios, Marks is going to have to get creative and not just draft who he has to draft. You're gonna have to find a way to get somebody that could really be a legit part of this team's future, not just supporting role players. You need that main guy that can be a potential front runner of this team. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm not even sure if they land. Just say they land in. I'm not top 7. I'm not sure who he would pick.
right.
I'm clueless. You know,
I'm cool.
I know I have an idea of like players I would pick, but him being that high, I have no idea who they would go after that being that high. You know what I mean? Like I'm clueless.
Imagine he drafts Con Knipple, the puns, a triple from Knipple, a let dog, a ripple from Knipple. Like Iron Eagle would have a ball, man. He would have like 20 to 30 puns about that kid. I'm just like, no, I don't need puns. I need a guy that can actually be a legit talent. But I agree with you, Ice. 7 through 10 is very interesting. Some guys that I've seen that can be on the top of that. Queen could be around that. Common Maliwak, Asa Noel, Con Knipple, Jeremiah Fears. He could be around 11 to 12, or he could be around 9 to 10. Like, if we don't get a point guard and we're around the 7 to 10 bracket, it probably could be between Jeremiah Fears at point or a center like Maluwak. Like, what would be more important, the point guard or the center? I think it would have to come down to who can you see that could be make an impact immediately. I think Jeremiah Fears could be that guy. I call him the Thunderbolt. Like his impact, you feel it because you didn't know this was going to happen, but he's definitely put himself in that conversation of being, like you said, maybe the second best point guard in this draft behind Dylan Harper. So that's definitely something to consider. But if Marks drafts a common Maluwalk, damn, he finally got rid of that phobia of not wanting to get big players.
Yeah,
So he'll go
about
out of the way there.
yeah, he's scared of people that's real, real, real tall. I don't know why.
It's interesting because like I said, some of the players that I seen that Nets Daily said the Nets have scouted. It ain't nobody we talked about, like you said. It's no one we talked about. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
said, Xavier Lee is like number how much the draft go up to? He's like in the 50s. You know what I mean? From Princeton. You know what I mean? I'm like I seen Xavier Lee. Like Xavier Lee could put up buckets. He don't look like it. He doesn't look like but he could put up buckets, but he's way at the end of the draft. You know what I mean? So I'm
yeah,
like, Xavier, you know what I mean? I'm looking at Jeremiah and then thinking Xavier Lee. You know how many point guards is, you know what I'm saying, ahead of Xavier Lee? But that's, you know what I'm saying? That throws me off with, you know what I'm saying? And another guy, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with, Alex Tooney. He plays for the Australian League too. I think he's a small forward shooting guard. They scouted him too. Alex Tui, I think, is in the 40s. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, all the guys they scouting is not guys that I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? If we land in this area, we take a Miles Bird or the guy that you said, John, that's 6'8", like one of them. Yeah,
Carter Bryant, yeah.
yeah, like thinking one of them, and nah, the players they scouting is, you know what I mean? At least that they said they scout right now is not none of those guys. So like they picking and choosing, it would be interesting. You know what I mean? If you land between six,
If you could draft all your prospects above 6'5" or something like that, we got to get bigger as a team. Look at the Magic. I know they had a bad season, but the previous season they improved a lot more defensively because their players were all bigger. We need to get bigger as a team. I feel like what Mark's problem is our rosters have been very small ball philosophy, and you got to get away from that. You look at the teams. They are playing bigger type body basketball, and if you don't have that, it's going to be easy to eat you alive in the paint. And I feel like that's something we really got to address. I appreciate that Jordy cares about defensive system, but you need those offensive type bigs as well that could dominate. So if we could get all 6'5" type players at point guard, forward, or center, I think your team is going to take some strides there as far as the offensive identity goes. But you got to get rid of the small ball philosophy. I think that's something that's been really hurting us the last few years.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, remember playing Dorian Finney-Smith at like small ball center?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
is.
you got to get away from that, man. I don't need Doe guarding Nikola Joker, and all
Well,
Joker has to do is do a backward shot in the hoop.
well, that's my point of building the roster because I don't know if you noticed that last game, Tucson was called up and he played center for the second unit like 3 games ago. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They
sure
still do
enough.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's why I said like 3 centers or a power forward, like um Sorber, that you
right.
can he's
Mhm.
6'10", you can slide him to the 4 or to the 5. You need, I think, even Queen, but Queen I'm not sure about, you know what I'm saying, him guarding 4s all the time, but someone who's capable of playing 4 and 5, you need
Right,
to
right,
draft. You know what I
right.
What
mean?
about Drew Timmy? He didn't get called up. Could you see him being called up to be that third ball center? Let's say we let Dayron go and we drafted Sober and Claxton start big. You could carry a third big on this team. Would Drew Timmy be a guy that you would want to maybe be on this team as a guy that can get some experience and maybe be a big for us in a backup role on ice? What are your thoughts on that?
I, I've been talking about Drew Timmy. Drew Timmy is is damn near unstoppable in the G League, right? So
Hmm.
I thought he would get a call up, but then I started realizing the guys that was ahead of Timmy because Timmy came in the second half of the G League. So as I was talking about, like Tyrese Martin been longer, Tyson Etienne and Kendall Brown been in the G League from the beginning. You know what I mean? Of the season to the end. So those guys, it's like almost like a pecking order. No matter how good you like, they're guys that play good. Kendall Brown plays good. Tyson Etienne plays good. Drew Timmy plays good. But when it came to the order, like Drew Timmy is last because he came last, even though he's playing well. So they wouldn't just take Timmy and put him ahead. So next year, if somebody doesn't pick him up like in the offseason or anything like that, he stays on the Nets roster. Maybe he gets a 2-way. They knock one of these guys off the 2-way, and Drew Timmy get a 2-way and come up because I don't think they're gonna sign him to the roster if they drafting 5 young players and he's Drew Timmy is like 24, 23, 24. You know
Yeah,
what I
he'll
mean?
probably go to the G League.
Yeah, so he'll be on 2-way and then try to work his way in. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's
right,
nice. He doesn't look like Drew Timmy doesn't look like he can hoop at all. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But he put some double doubles, triple doubles. He's nice.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of potential. That was the point I was trying to make. Is there's a lot of potential in the draft. It's just that I don't trust Sean Marks to make a move where he trades one of the things to move down because I don't know what he would pick.
This
Exactly.
is going to be a very
Exactly.
interesting summer for us because we still have to figure out will Marks be the GM if he gets promoted? Like we have to figure that out. We also have to figure out who we're drafting on draft night. And then you have free agency. We have the most cap space in the NBA, and there was this trade idea this guy Bobby Marks came up with where let's say Kevin Durant wants to go to Miami and the Suns want to need a third team. We could be that team to absorb, let's say, a Duncan Robinson expiring contract, and we get draft capital on top of it. We don't have to give away much assets. We're a team that's taking on extra salary that one of the teams can't take on. Like that would be a good way to utilize our cap space this summer because it's really a mirage. This free agency this summer is so dry, like the desert, that for us, you re-sign Thomas, Zaire Williams, maybe Dayron, and then your prospects. That's kind of all your cap space. So if we could use it to get an expiring contract that frees up more cap space the following year when 2026 free agency is a lot better than this, I would take that deal, and you get draft capital on top of it. I think Sean Marks should definitely look at Brooklyn as the best trade facilitator this summer because there are going to be some deals this summer. Some teams are going to try to move around pieces, and we could be the perfect team to collect some more assets and get expiring salary that will benefit us down the line. I hope Marks utilizes the cap space
Right.
strategically because we shouldn't just try to sign anybody to sign anybody. Try to position yourself for the following draft and the following free agency, which is a hell of a lot better than this upcoming free agency is. That's another thing we have to look for. Forget drafting as well. That's going to be very important. But Mark says people show us what he could do with cap space
Right,
to
right.
our advantage. So there's a lot of things this team has to do this summer. This should be one of the busiest summers in Brooklyn Nets history. So I hope they don't take the pedal off the metal. I hope they get that started as soon as season ends.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey, Lady T, you still with us? She's not even. I don't think her mic is on.
She went to
I'm
go
here.
make dinner. She went to go
Oh,
make dinner. She's like, "You guys talk about basketball. I'm
I
gonna have
ate
some
a plate
pizza
of
or
food.
something." I know how Lady T thinks. I see it. I read minds.
I
did
ate a
you
plate of
learn
food,
anything?
fed,
Did you
fed
learn
my son,
anything
all
today,
that.
Lady
So,
T? Did
but
you
I'm
learn?
listening.
Oh, did you learn anything today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I think you're a Nick fan anyway, so
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I don't know why I think that.
My father was a Knicks fan. My father is a
Oh,
Knicks
oh,
fan.
okay. So,
But,
yeah, my
you
mother
know,
was a Nick fan. Matter of fact, everybody in my house was a Nick
right.
fan,
I mean,
except
that
me.
was that era.
Well, I I used to like Clyde Frazier though.
Damn,
I used to
Scott, it
like.
makes you feel like a fossil, man. Jeez.
I
That
know.
was that
Scott, were you in Jurassic Park? Did you make like a sec? Were you in one of those segments? Guest appearance.
era.
Nah, but you'll learn a lot about the Nets and the draft. And I told you before that we in a rebuild state, but it don't take that long to rebuild. I don't believe it does. If our GM does what he need to do,
Right,
that's the
everybody got to
team.
play their part.
Everybody got to play their part. Yeah, the front office got to play their part.
Right. Yeah.
One of the guys I'm working with, they actually made a fire Sean Marks pamphlet that people actually signed. I gotta find the link to send you sometime, but it's
Oh,
crazy.
for real?
There,
For real?
yeah, there were over like 70 signatures to get him fired, and one person wrote F Marks. I'm like, damn, that's so poetic and very simplistic.
Yeah, basketball
But
fans can be tough, boy. We see that when Watchacon got traded to the Lakers.
yeah.
The
No, listen,
pain.
I think this is a huge summer. Like, if Marks is still the GM, he has to show us that he can actually do all these things and be strategic and take the right chance to present himself. I think the one thing he can't do is don't be boring. Don't just pick who you could pick with. Try to trade up for maybe one prospect in this draft. But to Isaac's point, if there are prospects in that 20 bracket that are really solid and you've been scouting them, you don't got to do nothing. But say there's a prospect you really want and that team is calling different teams saying, hey, I want to trade with you this prospect, you got to be ready to take a deal like that. So we'll see
Yeah,
this summer if Mark's whoever's in charge, if they can actually get this team a real legit core or the makings of a core, because
right,
you don't have a core right now. We're
right.
starting from scratch essentially there, a
Yeah,
little bit.
that is true. All right, we're gonna end this show because I'm gonna get.
Damn, I just got here, man. I'm
I
talking to
know.
Lady T about her famous dinner plans. I had eggplant tonight, by the way. I had eggplant and parmesan. It was so good. It was so full. So gooey cheese and tomato sauce.
That's crazy you said that because I had linguine tonight.
Wait, what? Wait,
Oh,
what?
you having linguine tonight?
I had linguine. I put some pesto in it.
Pesto?
Ooh, I love linguine with clam. Wait, linguine with clam sauce or what?
No, I didn't use clam sauce. I just had some linguine with some pesto.
Ooh, I love a good
Getting ready for
pesto.
the
That's
summer.
so good.
Eating like
Ooh, all right, all right. I
what's
love Italian food. I'm actually part Italian. I'm actually part Italian, Colombian, Peruvian, and Polish. So
you
I got
might as
all
well
that.
just be black now because you got everything in you.
Maybe
At this point,
It got
I
everything.
do.
right?
Maybe I do, but I just don't know it yet.
Hey, don't be surprised now.
Lady T's like
Ah,
staring in my soul now, telling me you are all of this, and I'm like, I can't disagree with you. I can't.
Well, good show. Good
It
show.
was nice to meet you, Lady T. I
thank
hope
you.
you
It was
have
nice
a
meeting
great
you
rest of your
too.
night and
You too,
great
Iceman, even
recovery.
though you
And the
kind of quiet.
snowstorm goes the hell away from you. I hope the snowstorm goes the hell away from you soon.
I know.
What'd you say, Lady T?
I said nice meeting you too, even though you haven't said much, but sport.
I was
He said a
talking.
lot.
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying he did. He said mostly sports. Yeah, he said a lot.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, all right.
But maybe
Lady T is all about those layers. She likes layers.
Well, before you know it, you will know more. You know just about everything we know. If you come to the show next week, you'll learn a lot.
I'll do my research.
Wait till Lady T does a podcast of something she likes. She could bring you on as a guest, Scott, to see how much you know. And she'd
That's
be like,
true.
you don't
Probably
know
kill
this
me,
or
boy.
that.
I'll probably be just as quiet as a church mouse.
I know.
She'll be the master and you'll be the student.
That's cool though.
All right,
It's
good
all
show,
right.
everybody. Thank you
This
for
was a lot of
showing up.
fun, Scott. Thanks for inviting me on, Scott. If you ever want to do more shows, you have
Yeah.
my Twitter and we'll definitely talk and all that.
Thanks,
But thanks for letting me
Iceman, for
be part of
showing
it, man.
up.
All right, no
All right,
problem.
see you.
Yep.
Thank you, Lady T. Thank you for showing up.
No problem. Thanks
Thank you
for
for
having me.
everybody that showed up. I'll do another show. I'm gonna make this a weekly show, so this will be every Friday.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, until I can figure out more stuff. But this makes it interesting. This is the first show, so thank you, YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.
Be safe.
Peace, everyone.